Today I want to talk to you about adding mixed numbers. The first thing that you want to do when you're adding or subtracting fractions is write them vertically with the larger number on top. We know that 3 is larger than 1, so I'm going to write 3 2/3 over 1 2/5. Now I have to look at my steps. The first thing I want to do is find the common denominator. In order to do that, I'm going to have to figure out which multiple of 3 and 5 they have in common. So I'm going to start with counting by 5s. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 20, and then I'm going to count by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Now I'm going to stop there because I see that 5 and 3 have 15 in common. So I'm going to use that as my common denominator. Now that I've found my common denominator, I want to change my numerators. You cannot keep the same numerator when you change the denominator. You actually have to change it by the same factor. So I know that 3 times 5 gives me 15, so I'm going to do 2 times 5 to get 10. Down here, I know that 5 times 3 is 15, so I'm going to do 2 times 3 to get 6. Lastly, we get to keep the whole number. Just like if you were to have $3.50, it doesn't matter how I give you that 50 cents, quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, that $3 remains the same. Same thing goes with the $1. Now that you have found a common denominator, changed the numerators, and kept the whole numbers, it's time to add your numerators. So I'm going to take 10 plus 6 to get 16. After you add the numerators, you have to keep the denominator. So I look and my denominator is 15, so it's going to remain 15. Then you want to add the whole numbers. So 3 plus 1 is going to give me 4. There's one issue here though. If you look, my fraction is actually improper. So before I can do anything, I must change it to a mixed number. In order to change my fraction to a mixed number, I have to ask myself, how many times does 15 go into 16? So I am essentially doing some long division. The numerator always goes underneath the division bar, and it's always divided by the denominator. 15 goes into 16 one time. 1 times 15 is 15. I subtract, and I get a remainder of 1. So I have got 1 and 1/15 remaining. I add this to my existing whole number, and I get an answer of 5 and 1/15.